The tray exploded against the floor so loudly that conversations died mid-sentence. Soup splashed across polished boots. A fork spun in a lonely circle. And in the center of the silence stood a trembling new recruit, her hand still frozen in the air from the shove she couldn't take back. The woman she had pushed didn't fall. She caught her balance with unnatural calm, lifted her head slowly, and the entire mess hall rose to its feet at once. The recruit didn't understand why. Not yet. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her name was Carter, and fear arrived in layers. First, embarrassment burned her cheeks. Then, confusion twisted her stomach. Then, a whisper reached her, slithering through the rows of tables like a blade. "General." The word hollowed her out. Carter looked again at the woman's uniform, the perfect lines. The quiet authority, the way officers stood straighter just by being near her. Carter's breath caught. She hadn't shoved a stranger. She'd shoved a general. Hunger, exhaustion, and a morning full of ridicule had cracked her patience. She thought someone cut the line. She reacted like the angry girl she swore she'd stopped being. And now, that girl might destroy everything. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. "This is your chance. Don't waste it." Carter had joined to prove she could change, that discipline could sand down her rough edges. But anger doesn't disappear. It waits, and it had chosen the worst possible moment to return. The general bent and picked up the fallen tray herself. No aid rushed in. No one dared move. Steam curled upward between them, turning the air thick and unreal. Carter tried to speak, her throat locked. The apology felt too small to survive the silence. "Walk with me," the general said quietly. No yelling, no humiliation. Somehow, that terrified Carter more. Their boots echoed down the corridor in slow rhythm. Carter's hands shook at her sides. Dust floated through a beam of sunlight from a high window, glowing like suspended time. Each step felt like a countdown. She imagined discharge papers, a phone call home, her future folding in on itself. "Why did you shove me?" the general asked. The question wasn't sharp, it was human. Carter swallowed hard. "I was angry, ma'am, and I didn't want to be. I thought joining would fix me." The confession scraped its way out of her chest. It hurt. It was honest. The general studied her, and for a moment the rank faded. She looked like someone who understood exactly what that kind of anger costs. "A uniform doesn't erase what's inside you," she said softly. "It only magnifies it if you refuse to face it." That was the moral knife twisting in Carter's gut. She could lie, blame stress, hide behind excuses. Or she could stand in the wreckage she made and choose differently. When they returned to the hall, the entire unit watched in absolute stillness. Carter felt their eyes like weight on her shoulders. She stepped forward before fear could stop her. "I was wrong," she said. Her voice shook, but it carried. "I lost control." "That's on me." The moment stretched thin as glass. Then something shifted. The general nodded once. The tension cracked open. Air rushed back into the room. Carter wasn't spared consequences, extra drills, a formal reprimand, but there was no cruelty in it. Only structure. Only a path forward. Punishment became something unexpected. Permission to grow. As the general turned to leave, she paused beside Carter. "Strength," she murmured, "isn't never falling. It's choosing who you are when you stand back up." The applause rose slowly, like a tide filling the hall. Not loud, not wild, respectful. It wrapped around Carter and held her steady. For the first time since she arrived, she didn't feel like an imposter. She felt like someone becoming. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And in the same room where a reckless shove nearly ended her journey, Carter felt a different force take root: quiet courage, warm as sunlight after a storm. If this story stayed with you, share your thoughts below and join this community. We tell these stories to remind each other that the hardest moments often build the strongest people. Subscribe if you believe one honest choice can rewrite an entire future.